Hey, welcome to Flash Editorials for December 7th, 2012. Now, you see this over my shoulder? See that little thing? Christmas, bah, humbug. I'm Russ Longcore, the owner and editor of Dump DC. Flash Editorials is presented by www.dumpdc.com. Dump DC is the world leader in secessionist thought. We show the world that secession is the only hope for individual liberty and property rights on this planet. Now, first and most importantly today, my redhead Julie has a birthday today. December 7th, a day that will live in infamy. I'll get to that in a little bit. But not infamy around here, so here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, darling Julie. Happy birthday to you. Okay. Julie, honey, I love you. You're still the most fascinating woman that I have ever known. Now, folks, to celebrate, she and I are going to go to our favorite watering hole tonight and make sure that we are overserved. But let's go to the news. First, today is also December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day. And, I'm not going to say a lot about Pearl Harbor Day other than the fact that when the United States was baited, or when the United States baited Japan into attacking, they attacked on December 7th, 1941. There was no reason in the world that the United States of America needed to be in the European War and the Asian War. No reason whatsoever. But hundreds of thousands of our men died, millions served, hundreds of thousands were injured, and all of them were affected negatively by the war. I know that guys like Tom Brokaw like to say things like it was the greatest generation, and I don't take anything away from my parents' generation, but at the same time, there wasn't any reason for us to be in that war. Unfortunately, the reasons for the war were set up in the 1918s or in the teens when Wilson got us involved in World War I, and then the Treaty of Versailles that came from World War I set the stage for World War II to even occur. If America would have stayed out of World War I, a whole lot of things would be different in the United States. That's all I'll say. The Nation, Part 1. The Republican Party is in complete disarray and just about to melt down. The elections have shaken them to the place where they're, well, I was going to say shaken them to their core, but it's actually shaken them to the place where their core actually should be, because they don't have a core. But that's one of the points that I'm trying to make. I don't see a lot of core principles in the Republican Party. The Republicans are much like the Democrats except for a set of core beliefs. Both sides value money and power over everything else. But the Democrats seem to be committed ideologues, some more committed than others, but they still seem to be committed to moving the ball down the field when they are in possession. Now, you'll notice that almost always when the two parties have to compromise on some issue, it's the Republicans that do the compromising. And since Mitt Romney did not win the White House, because he didn't deserve to, President Obama has been very successful since the election in setting the terms of all discussions. Republicans' so-called leadership in the House is in full panic, and committee appointments are being handed out based on loyalty, not on core principles, because they don't have any. Maybe that's the same as it always has been. I don't know for that for sure. But this debate about the other so-called fiscal cliff is being led entirely by the president. All these assholes, and I mean that, all these assholes on Capitol Hill agreed to the terms of the deal back in 2011, in which the Bush tax cuts would sunset at the same time that massive spending cuts from the budget would occur. So the Dems would get higher taxes, the Republicans would get spending cuts, which is what they both say that they want. but neither side appears to be willing to just allow the agreement to take effect at the first of the year. All the Republicans have to do right now is nothing. But the perception so cleverly transmitted by the mainstream media is that the fiscal cliff agreement will shove America into another recession. Another recession? Another recession? We're still in a recession now. And you could make an argument that we're in a greater depression than the Great Depression that happened 80 years ago. It's all poppycock. For the Keynesian economists, they must have higher taxes and unlimited government spending. So watch how this plays out. The party that said they're against higher taxes is just about to cave in massively and raise your taxes. And spending, you can forget about spending cuts. Today, everything seems to be non-negotiable. In international news, the CIA has made a disastrous mess of the Middle East. Everywhere you look, governments have either been toppled or are in the process of being toppled, and the regimes being ended are the old CIA assets that were installed at the top of governments to protect American interests. Arabs and Persians are pretty smart people. Even though Islam colors everything, it's the presence of America in the region that keeps the fires burning. And it appears that Washington is going to continue until it overthrows the Assad regime in Syria. Look for a false flag action that D.C. will use to place American troops on Syrian soil, something like chemical weapons or something like that. It's the same tired lies for invading Syria as they used to invade Iraq. The X factor here is President Assad himself. If he's backed into a corner, he may figure that he has nothing to lose, and his reaction could be to use his inventory of Russian-built and Russian-supplied Yakont anti-ship cruise missiles against the U.S. naval ships closing in on the Syrian shore. These missiles, the Yakont, are like the Chinese Sunburn missiles. They can reach speeds of Mach 2.5, which is like 1,875 miles per hour, at about anywhere from 5 to 15 meters above the waves. That's pretty amazing, and they make erratic moves in their last few seconds, so that they're not defeated. They have an effective range of up to 300 kilometers, which is about 185 miles. So a missile launched from a shore battery could reach an aircraft carrier 185 miles offshore in less than 6 minutes. So what if the Navy is just over the horizon, sitting at maybe 25 miles, and they're, like I said, they're just over the horizon? Would it take a minute? Would it take 90 seconds? See, that's not time enough to even get people out of bed to answer an all general quarters alarm. It's not enough time, and it's certainly not enough time for any kind of a system to calculate a defense solution. So the Navy knows that it has no defense for anti-ship missiles, and wouldn't Russia, who has a naval base at Tarsus, wouldn't they just giggle with glee to see American ships sent to the bottom of the Med? There is no upside for Washington to overthrow the Syrian government, and a whole lot of downside risk, but that doesn't seem to be stopping them. In business, the International Labor Organization issued a report this week stating that developed nations, that's us, developed nations' wages failed to keep up with inflation since 2008. This, I suppose, should be filed under the stating the obvious category. In a monetary system that's based on fiat money, central banking, and fractional reserve banking, which is the entire world financial system, there have not been true wage increases since the 70s. Buying power has evaporated over the last 40 years. For example, if you were a carpenter in 1971 and you earned $10 an hour, which was a pretty good rate at that point, non-union, you would need $58 an hour today just to have the same purchasing power as you had in 1971. That's not a wage increase, folks. If you're making 58 bucks an hour and that only buys what 10 would have 40 years ago, your real wages did not increase. This is the ravages of inflation. In the Free Republic of North America, which is a nation that I'm inventing, kind of like J.R.R. Tolkien invented Middle Earth, FRONA, the Free Republic of North America, F-R-O-N-A, or I guess I should say for you folks, F-R-O-N-A. FRONA has a precious metals money system, and there is no inflation, there's no central bank, there's no fractional reserve banking where they make up money out of thin air, and there's no fiat money. Read more about FRONA here at Dump DC. Just go down here or go up above me actually and click on the archive. And when you see the archive, look for any of the articles that you find there that has the word FRONA in them and read about the world that I'm building. Hopefully it'll come true someday. You never know. Now here's tonight's commercial message. It's really simple. I'm gonna be short and to the point. Got a few questions for you. Are you making enough money? Yes or no? Are you living the lifestyle of your dreams? Yes or no? Have you ever dreamed of firing your boss and working from home? Yes or no? Are you tired of the rat race? Yes or no? Well, I can show you how to start a recession-proof home business part-time and make great money. I don't know what great money means to you, but however you define it, you can make it happen. I have focused my business on 3 things that people must have and will not voluntarily live without, and those are electricity, natural gas, and mobile phones. Some customers buy all 3. Some customers only buy 1 or 2. For example, if you lived in a place where you had an electric bill and you had a cell phone, which is everybody, but your house didn't use natural gas, you wouldn't buy natural gas. Okay, that's obvious. But here's the most important part. All 3 of these products that I've built this business around throw off monthly residual income. In other words, when people pay their bills, pay their utility bill, pay their mobile phone bill, either one, every month they pay that bill, and I get paid a little bit of commission, and you could get paid the same. Ask yourself this question. How many years have you been paying your utility bills to somebody? How many more years are you going to be paying those bills to somebody? Do you see a market here? Hang on. I had to tell my cat that he couldn't stay in the room and make a lot of noise. I'm sorry. Now look, folks, I'm not the Dalai Lama here. I'm not trying to be altruistic like Mother Teresa. I want to get wealthy by helping a bunch of other people make their dreams come true. You can be one of those people or not. It's entirely up to you. A bunch of other people are going to make great money along with me. Why not you? But let's start where you are today. Forget about this whole thing about getting wealthy and all this kind of stuff. That's nice talk for the multi-level people. But I'm talking to you about just making more money than you make now. Let's start where you live today. How about if I help you make one more check next month? Just one more check. Whatever that is, I can help you make one more check next month. So you can live how you want to live, you can live where you want to live, and you can make money doing it. Does that sound tempting? Well, go down here and click and just scroll down in this article and click on the thing that says 7-Hour Wealth and take a look at that, and then get back with me in the economy. Now hold on to your hats, friends. The unemployment numbers are in for this week, and they are scorchers. The number of actual initial unemployment claims filed under state programs unadjusted, in other words, not cooked by the Labor Department, totaled 498,619 in the week ending December 1st. That's last week. That is a massive increase of 139,678 over the previous week. Now, I thought all merchants were hiring for the Christmas rush, Isn't that what we hear everywhere? That there's this big push, big employment toward the end of the year, whole bunches of people get hired, but unemployment claims increased last week by almost 140,000. Even with holiday hiring, which we all know is mostly part-time jobs of short duration, there were nearly 500,000 new unemployment claims just last week. And remember that all corporations all across, not all, but corporations all across America will shed jobs in the final weeks of 2012 in an attempt to show greater profitability at the end of the fourth quarter. It happens every year. But folks, if this economy is in recovery, then why is it that in 1 week we went up by 140,000 unemployment claims? And then today, Friday, the Obama administration said that they created 100,000 jobs. How exactly does that work, folks? It's all lies. It's all BS, and don't believe anything that comes out of Washington. In sports, a nobody NFL player named Jovan Belcher shot and killed his girlfriend and then turned the gun on himself last week. Sportscaster Bob Costas felt the need to make an anti-gun tirade on the air during the NFL game Sunday night. Costas is taking a little bit of heat for his remarks, but that'll all be over soon. He'll certainly be forgiven for saying what he did. For an expanded article about gun control and the Second Amendment, written by yours truly, simply scroll down from here and you'll find it. But here's a hint. The Second Amendment may be useless today. Read the article. And finally, in entertainment, the Huffington Post this week featured an article entitled 7 Children's Characters Who Were Probably Stoners. It lists the following as likely candidates for bogarting that joint, I guess I'd say. Number 1, Scooby-Doo. Actually, Scooby-Doo's name is Scooby-Dooby-Doo. If you listen to the song, Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? See, his middle name is synonymous with marijuana. But if you ever watched the cartoon, especially if you see Shaggy, which is one of the characters there, I think everybody in that bus were all tokers. Number 2, Speedy Gonzales. Who else in cartoon world sings about La Cucaracha, which is the roach? You know what a roach is, right? And have you ever seen his partner Slowpoke? Who looks like he's stoned all the time and talks real slow, moves real slow. Well, he's just happy. I don't know about his munchies, but he is a mellow dude. Number 3, HR Puffin-Stuff. Really? How hard was that one to figure? Puffin-Stuff and what does HR stand for? Hand rolled? My gosh. Number 4, Cookie Monster. This dude has got the munchies 24/7. Number 5, Sylvester the Cat. There was a cartoon in 1955 where it was Porky Pig and Sylvester, and Porky asks Sylvester, "You been smoking that loco weed?" Maybe. Number 6, Popeye. What did he smoke in that pipe that he always had in his mouth? You know, when I was a kid, I remember seeing him pack some green stuff in that pipe, but I'll bet it wasn't spinach. And then finally, Puff the Magic Dragon. Please. I mean, he even had a friend named Little Jackie Paper. Can you imagine? I mean, Little Jackie Paper probably grew up and is now the guy who you see on the zigzag packages. Well, that's all for tonight. Thanks for watching. I'm Russell Longcore, the owner of this mess. And from all of us here at Dump DC, good night and good luck. Dump DC, 6 letters that will change history. Copyright 2012, Russell Longcore. Permission to reprint in whole or in part is gladly granted, providing full credit is given. See you guys.